Okay, we are live, and this person does not want her face in view, so we're just going to do it like this. All right, so tell us what happened to your mum.
She took the Moderna shot in January. She went back to get a second doses, and she started feeling tired. She had some medical conditions. However, the way that she was feeling, it was different to us because we were caring for her. In March, we took her to the hospital because she had shortness of breath. She had experienced those for about 2 weeks. Her cardiologist couldn't figure out what was going on. So finally, when she went to the hospital, to the ER, they tested her for COVID. It was negative. I told them to run blood tests of her because she was very, in my opinion, dynamic. She didn't have any black color on her skin. Her hemoglobin levels was 3.0, when for a woman it should be anything above 11 to 12. And from the moment she was discharged from the hospital, she came back home, and every month she needed to be having a blood transfusion. Doctors couldn't figure it out why she was not retaining her blood. So they did an endoscopy, colonoscopy, bone marrow testing. So she was producing red blood cells, but she didn't have any escapes. She was wasting any blood that the doctors knew about, but she was treated, doctors said, as if she had cancer. So she needed to have a blood transfusion before the month was over. And these happened for about 6 months. She ended up going back to the hospital. She was discharged. She went back to the hospital, and at that point I realized that my mother was no longer living. She was just connected to machines, getting oxygen. We were not allowed to go to the hospital. We went to the hospital. I had a meeting with a committee of the hospital staff that they allow us to go 1 hour a day. And the reason why I asked for that was because I wanted my mom to be comforted, to know that we were waiting for her and we were doing everything to get her out of there. But I saw my mother slipping away from our hands. I asked my siblings that we needed her to get out of the hospital so she could be at home with us. Two weeks after, she passed away. But she had what she needed the most, was the love of her children.
And you believe this was as a direct result of Moderna? Was she fine before she took Moderna?
I'm 100%. And I told the doctors, until you prove to me that the COVID shot did not do anything to my mother, I'm going to continue to believe that that's the case, because I have the documents of everything she was taking. Her health condition was fine. Prior to taking Moderna, she didn't have any of these symptoms. And the fact that they didn't have a diagnosis for her was very painful, but I still wanted to keep my hope that she was going to get better.
And she had, how many Moderna did she have?
2.
2 Moderna.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to tell everybody about the story?
Everybody in my family took the COVID shot, whatever it was available or offered to them. And I was the only one who decided that I was not going to put something in my body that I did not recognize or that I did not agree with. And I did receive some backlash from everybody, but I stood my ground. And to this day, a lot of them, they have changed their mind because they have consequences from receiving the COVID shot, but they do not like to talk about it in front of me. And I'm okay. I accept that they're receiving the consequences of making a decision, just like I'm healthy and my family's healthy, and we're fine because we did not cave in into taking something that we did not believe in at that time. We do not believe the fears. We do not believe all the lies that were pushing to people to believe that this was going to save them. I do not believe that. I have faith, and my faith has stayed strong. And my husband, my children, and I, we did not receive any COVID shot. It didn't matter the consequences that were going to be given. My husband was threatened that if he didn't receive that shot, he was going to be fired. Thank God that didn't happen. He did not receive the COVID shot, and he was one of the few that did not take it either.
So you and your husband did not take the COVID shot. Do you or your husband have heart conditions or blood clots?
Nope.
Paralysis?
Nothing. We're healthy. If we visit the doctor once a year to get our physical check, that's all we do, and we're healthy. We have no cholesterol, no issues, no health conditions whatsoever.
Well, thank you so much for that story. And the story about your mummy, we'll put her on the bus.
Thank you. Thank you.
Autism destroys families, but more importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
pledged to find out what is driving the country's rise in autism.
Compiling medical records from a number of databases. He'll direct resources to study environmental factors, exposures, and external factors.
Scientific progress on this has been slow because scientists are frankly scared to ask the question.
Genes don't cause epidemics. You need an environmental toxin, and we're going to look at all the potential culprits.
With no a priori thumb on the scale, you can't look at that.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to the Secretary for finally saying from an important public platform that this is an epidemic and we need to find the causes and we need to stop it.
Other issues DHC has been pushing for years are finally gaining mainstream traction.
Today we're announcing we are removing industry members, pharma members from FDA advisory committees.
We're seeing reports that you're considering removing the COVID vaccine as a mandatory shot for children.
The recommendation for children was always dubious. The vaccine itself does have profound risk of myocarditis, pericarditis, even strokes.
Very, 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 very few people are still taking these things. In that sense, the mRNA vaccines for COVID in the marketplace are effectively dead.
We are working together to change the federal fluoride recommendations. We're looking at the science now. There's a direct inverse correlation between fluoride exposure and low IQ in children.
Health officials announced plans to phase out 8 artificial dyes from our food supply.
The FDA is effectively removing all petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply.
We don't have a surveillance system that actually works, and that is a crime. And we will do that right away. And I understand the perverse incentives that need to be changed right away.
When there's a political will to answer a question like this, it will happen.
We're going to change things for real this time.